Hey guys, and for today's video, I'm going to be ranking all of my Klarity Kosmetics eyeshadow palettes. So I just want to preface this video and say that it was extremely difficult to rank all of these palettes because Klarity's quality is just absolutely phenomenal, and I love all of the palettes that I have. Some of these are discontinued, so I do apologize about that, but there are some that are still available on their website. I am wearing the #1 palette, in my opinion, on my eyes at the moment, and I did record that look, and it'll be a YouTube short when I post this video. Diving on in to these beautiful palettes. Ultimately, when it came down to ranking these palettes, it came down to a preference in color story because, like I said, Klarity's quality is just absolutely beautiful from the mattes and the shimmers. So coming in at number 20 is going to be the Return to the Sea palette. This is what it looks like on the inside. Really, really beautiful palette. Definitely your very pastel shades. Most of these shimmers in here are going to be toppers. This is the second round basically of their Mer Amazing palette, which I do also have. The only reason this is coming in at number 20 is it's just a preference in color story. I don't gravitate towards pastels as frequently. I have dipped into this palette to kind of use the lighter shades to blend out. The only thing that kind of threw me off with this palette was the dark green shade over here. But other than that, the shimmers in here are beautiful, but again, they are mostly topper shades. And then coming in at number 19 is the Mer Amazing palette. So again, you can see some of the same shades. The pans in the last palette were smaller, and I really do like this palette. Again, the pastels are very, very light, and I do use them to blend out, and I have dipped into this palette quite a few times to use as toppers. The only reason you can't really see indents in the pan is because all you really have to do is just kind of very lightly tap in there and just pat all over your lid. So I do really like this palette. Just again, it just comes down to a preference and color story, but this is a beautiful palette. Coming in at number 18 is going to be the Evil Mermaid palette. This was available for, I believe, a short period of time. I need to be careful here because both of these shimmer shades right here are actually broken, and I did have to press them right before this video. That's the only gripe that I kind of have with some of Klarity's shadows, is that they are very, very softly pressed, and there are times where I do have to take like alcohol and press them back down. But overall, that's not really a huge deal to me. It's just a little bit of a disappointment, but I found that by repressing them, they usually tend to stay together. And at least in my experience, it hasn't impacted the quality. So this is the Evil Mermaid palette. Definitely your very mermaid, obviously, vibes. Coming from here, the shimmers in here are absolutely, absolutely beautiful. The mattes are extremely pigmented, and I really do love this palette, and I absolutely love like the cover art here as well. So coming in at number 17 was originally a mystery palette, and this is their Oasis palette right here. Again, another blue color story, absolutely beautiful. I love this blue shade right here. It's just absolutely gorgeous. If you're not into blue tones, this obviously is not for you, but I really love monochromatic palettes, and I really love like this kind of acrylic pour cover that it has on here. Again, beautiful, beautiful quality palette. And then coming in at number 16 is going to be the Safari palette. I picked this up right before they had discontinued it because I'd been eyeballing it for a while. Now, y'all who have been watching me for a while, you know that I have a soft spot in my heart for these beautiful like red tones in here. These three shades right here in particular are absolutely beautiful. So you guys down here are seeing more of a yellow, but I'm seeing orange. Yeah, there we go. I love this palette. I do dip into these three shimmers right here a pretty decent amount for like topper shades. All of the mattes in here are really pigmented, and again, as per usual, Klarity's absolutely beautiful shimmer formula. And then coming in at number 15 is going to be the Lost Kingdom palette. Absolutely love this color story. I really love the blue side over here, particularly this kind of seafoam shade right here. As I sound like a broken record. Absolutely beautiful quality. I think the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of this palette and the Return to the Sea palette is just going to be like the cover art with the split. I don't know. I kind of wish that there was like a softer gradient between the two instead of just like a harsh cutoff, but that's just being overly nitpicky, and that's neither here nor there. What matters is what's inside and the quality. And again, this is just Beautiful. And then coming in at number 14 is going to be the Mer Amazing palette. I love, 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 love the color story in here. More on the pastel leaning side. You do have the dark purple in here to kind of help you build up some depth. These shades do blend pretty easily. When I do use this palette, I do usually go in with like a light or a white base just to kind of make the colors stand out a little bit. And I love these shimmers in here. This one and this one are two of my favorite shimmers in this palette. Again, absolutely beautiful, beautiful palette. And then coming in at number 13, I believe this was one of their Halloween releases 1 or 2 years ago. And this is going to be the Apocalypse palette. They had brought it back by popular demand and I went ahead and picked it up because I did miss it on the first round. Here's the color story. This is absolutely stunning. This pink shade over here is a duochrome as well as this shade right here. So you have three kind of duo and multi-chrome shades right here. It's going to be I Choose You, Tomb It May Concern, and Go Big or Gourd Home. Klarity has absolutely adorable shade names in all of their palettes, and they're so clever with the names that they come up with. I just love it. But yeah, absolutely beautiful color story. Love the shimmers in this palette. And I really like the cover art on this palette in particular. I really like the fact that they had palettes that catered to Halloween because they also had their Angry Leprechaun palette this year. And I love when brands do that because you don't see very many palettes curated for Halloween. And then coming in at number 12 is going to be the Cobra palette. Really like the snake scale look on the outside, and this is the color story here on the inside. A beautiful mix of blue and greens. Not necessarily any light tones in here per se. You can easily blend these shades out without needing to have a lighter tone as long as you lift up the pressure on your brush and don't dip into these very harshly. But it is a very beautiful mid-tone palette and I absolutely love the shimmers in here. And then coming in at number 11 is going to be the Bloom palette. Really love this beautiful, beautiful cover art on here. Here's the inside color story. Very kind of dark and mysterious, that beautiful kind of purple vibes. Kind of reminds me of like a peacock. I think this is absolutely beautiful. I really love like these dark, kind of muted tones in palettes. I think they're stunning. And again, they're top quality shimmer formula. They're smooth, they're buttery. Absolutely love this palette. And then coming in at number 10 is going to be their Forbidden Love palette. I absolutely love the cover art on this. I know skulls are not for everybody, but I think this is absolutely stunning. And then opening it up, absolutely beautiful color story in here. I do like that we do get a range of dark, mid, and light tones in this palette. There's 2 rows of mattes, 2 rows of shimmers, and the shimmers in here are absolutely beautiful, beautiful quality. As per usual, the shades blend really nicely. They are extremely pigmented. Like Klarity's deeper shades are always extremely pigmented. So if you've never tried this brand and you want to, make sure that you dip in lightly. But again, absolutely love this color story and love the cover art. And then coming in at number 9 is going to be the Euphoria palette. Again, another kind of acrylic pour type of cover art on here. I think this is absolutely beautiful. And then opening it on up, and I have another shade that is about to break. I have to repress that. But here is the Euphoria palette. Very beautiful kind of like wine tones in here, and then you do have a couple of like lighter nearing pastel shades. Shimmers in here again are very soft, hence why I'm going to have to repress this kind of teal turquoise shade over here because it is breaking. But all of the shimmers in here are absolutely beautiful, and again the mattes blend really, really nicely. I absolutely love this color story. All right, and then coming in at number 8 is going to be the Stained Glass palette. This is just a small 6-pan palette. Cover art for some reason, and even the color story kind of reminds me of Beauty and the Beast. And then opening it on up, here's this absolutely beautiful color story. This bottom row right here in particular, I don't know, there's just something about those colors together that I absolutely love. Again, another kind of mid-tone, deeper palette, just go in lightly and blend up in layers. Shimmers in here, same, absolutely beautiful, beautiful quality. And again, yeah, this color story kind of reminds me of Beauty and the Beast. I really love this palette and I've taken it with me a couple times traveling. And then coming in at number 7 is going to be the Anaconda palette. Really love this colorful snakeskin cover. And then opening it up, this is the absolutely beautiful color story. I love the mix of kind of semi-neutral and colors that we get in here. Can't necessarily, you could make a neutral look by using, you know, or like a day appropriate look by using like these kind of 4 shades right here, and then everything else is colorful. I really like when brands kind of do something a little bit different with their color story, but if you kind of mix and match shades in here, usually everything within a palette is going to be cohesive with one another. Again, absolutely beautiful shimmers. Love their purples. Klarity has a fantastic purple formula. I've never had a problem with any of their shades being patchy. So again, this is the Anaconda palette. Absolutely love this palette. And then coming in at number 6 is going to be the Deadly Rose palette. Again, we have another skull right here with some roses. Really like the cover art. And then opening it on up, this is the color story. Love this kind of grungy type of tone. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The shimmers in here are super buttery. This is a foiled shade. I usually do go in with glitter primer for these in particular just because they can be a little bit flaky, but the payoff is just absolutely stunning. The mattes in here blend really nicely, and I really love this very grungy dark color story. And then coming in at number 5 is going to be the Komodo palette. Here's the color story. I did have another casualty where I had to press this one, but these shimmers in here are some of my favorites in my Klarity palettes. I don't know what it is about like these 3 right here in particular. I think that they're just absolutely stunning, the shifts that they have. And then I really like this muted kind of mossy, semi-grungy color story that we have in here. Shades blended absolutely beautifully, and these shimmers in here are just absolutely stunning. And then coming in at number 4 is going to be the Lily palette. I love this cover. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And then opening it on up, this is definitely one of my favorite color stories. I don't know what it is about this color story, but it just absolutely speaks to me. Just the bright tones that you have in here, and then you do have a little bit of some deeper shades to build up a little bit of depth. If you're looking for extreme depth, this is not the palette, but these colors in here, particularly like this seafoam green, this kind of pink to green duochrome shade in here, I just think they're absolutely gorgeous, and I absolutely love this palette. I just think it's beautiful. And then now we are breaking the top 3, and this was a pretty difficult decision. But coming in at number 3, this is going to be the Angry Leprechaun palette, and this was their new recent release for the Halloween spooky season. Love the cover art on here. I really love how they showed on their Instagram some little snips of the artist actually drawing this, and I think that was really cool that they were supporting an artist and not using AI. I love when brands do that. I personally love the cover art. I know it's a little dark and gruesome for some people, but I love it. And then opening it on up, again, gorgeous color story. The red is just absolute perfection. You do get a couple duochromes in here. They are super, super buttery, unbelievably soft, and I had a lot of fun playing with this palette. And then coming in at number 2, and this, between these 2 palettes, they come so close to each other. But coming in at number 2 is going to be the Bridal Party palette. First of all, I love this cover. I really love roses. I have multiple rose tattoos. And then opening it on up, this is kind of more of Klarity's neutral-ish leaning palettes. They did have the coffee palette, which they are bringing back, by the way, and I'm going to pick that up because I didn't pick it up the last time, with like a new revamped either color story and or formula. But I absolutely love this palette. The shimmers in here are absolutely stunning. They're all like the foiled shades in here. I don't think there's any multi-chromes in here. And then I love this green shade in here. Some of the times what I'll do when I dip into this palette is I'll just take the brown in the crease and I'll put this all over the lid and pop Vows right here, just right in the center. I love this palette, and I absolutely love like the muted tones in here as well. Beautiful color story. And then coming in at number 1, and this is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and that's going to be the Croc palette. I love this palette. I absolutely love the green tones in this palette, just kind of those dirty, mossy type of greens. Just something about this palette just absolutely speaks to me. I really love green eyeshadows, and again, the shimmers in here are just absolutely beautiful. Like, that's all these absolutely beautiful shifts that you get in this palette. I think it's absolutely stunning. But again, you guys, this ranking was unbelievably difficult because I love all of my Klarity palettes, and I will continue to support this brand because they are, I would have to say, within my top 3 favorite brands. that I own, period. Their quality is fantastic, and they do tend to run sales on their website pretty frequently, whether that be on palettes, on their lip products, on their face products. Some of these things I've paid only for shipping just to get the palette when they're trying to clear their stock. I absolutely love this brand, and I cannot recommend them enough to you guys. That's ranking all 20 of my Klarity palettes. Let me know down below in the comments, do you guys have Klarity palettes? Which are your favorites? Have you never tried this brand? Are you interested in trying this brand? I'd love to know. And thank you guys for watching another one of my videos today. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because I do upload pretty frequently throughout the week, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.